What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? Katt Williams is if you listen closely to him, he's a whistleblower on telling you what you shouldn't do when trying to get into this industry, whether it's entertainment, movies, music, making beats. You know, your talent, your skills need to be protected. So that's what Katt Williams, because he been through it. My bad, y'all, my legs itching. I just got out the shower. Anyway, check this out. Katt Williams warns the jury, Oprah silenced victims for Diddy and Clive Davis. Whoa, we got Clive Davis' name up in this joint again? I'm waiting to hear Clive Davis' name up in the courtroom, man. What's the day? Sunday? We got 2 more days, man. Then I'm going up to New York, baby. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Hit that subscribe button because y'all can check out all the stuff I'm going to do up in New York at the trial. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we filming something. I know that much. Let's check it out.
Done nothing but collect. Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
You guys, something major is going down in Hollywood, and it's way bigger than your usual celebrity drama. Katt Williams just lit the whole industry on fire again. But this time, he's not just throwing shade at Diddy. He's staring straight at Oprah Winfrey and dropping a bomb. She's been shutting victims up for years. Yeah, that's what he's putting out there, and the streets are buzzing. Now let that sink in. Katt's message? There's a whole dark network behind Diddy's trafficking empire, and Oprah? She ain't innocent. Neither is Clive Davis. These folks ain't just industry giants. They're gatekeepers. And according to Katt, they've been protecting predators, silencing victims, and burying secrets deeper than we ever imagined. This ain't no joke. Diddy's empire is crumbling, and the shockwaves are hitting everybody who protected him. So let's break it all down. Now, you know Katt has never been one to bite his tongue, but when he sat down for that now legendary interview on 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 earlier this year, he didn't just speak facts. He predicted everything that's happening now. All these big dotting deviants are catching hell in 2024. It doesn't matter if you are Diddy or whoever you are. All lies will be exposed.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
That quote aged like fine wine, because just weeks later, Diddy's homes got raided by federal agents in investigations. And what did they find? Thousands of bottles of baby oil, cameras, ropes, gags. But Katt had already warned us. Now here's where it gets deeper. Katt also revealed something most comedians would never admit. He turned down a $50 million deal, not once, but 4 times.
You're gonna turn down $50 million. Now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Let that sink in. That $50 million was hush money. That was the cost of silence. And Katt wasn't willing to sell his soul. He knew what those parties meant. He knew who'd be there, who'd be watching, who'd be filming. And when Diddy got arrested, Katt didn't miss a beat. He called it. So when Katt Williams allegedly warned the jury that Oprah's been silencing victims, it ain't just some wild conspiracy theory. It's a statement backed by years of red flags, industry whispers, and now receipts. Real ones. Let's start with the name that never seems to disappear. Jeffrey Epstein. Oprah's name has appeared multiple times in connection with Epstein. And no, it ain't just rumors. Her private jet allegedly landed on Epstein Island on several occasions. One viral image even shows a young Rita Ora beside Oprah and Epstein. One person on X said the image looked like Oprah was offering up another girl to Epstein. Somebody commented, "OMG, this picture is so cringe. All those poor girls." And it doesn't stop there. Now let's talk about the man pulling strings behind the scenes, Clive. Clive is openly bisexual, a music executive with global power, and according to Jaguar Wright, a straight-up Satanist who trained Diddy in everything he now stands accused of. Think that's far-fetched? Here's what's wild. Clive is the same man who hosted the party upstairs, while Whitney's lifeless body laid in a bathtub right below his suite at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. And guess who was at that party hyping it up? Oprah. This wasn't just some fancy party. It was more like a clear message that something major is about to go down, like it always does. Now let's talk about receipts. Oprah didn't just show up next to Epstein or Clive or Diddy. She's been protecting people like them. Let's rewind to her school in South Africa, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls, a place that was supposed to protect vulnerable young girls. But by 2007, reports came out of abuse, molestation, and assault happening inside. Dorm matron Virginia Makopo was arrested for allegedly assaulting multiple underage girls. 14 charges, 14. One of the dorm matrons at the school even got arrested, charged, and tried for doing some really inappropriate stuff and mistreating the students.
The trial of a former dormitory matron charged with abusing 6 students at Oprah Winfrey School for Girls in South Africa is resuming. Prosecutors say former dorm matron Tina Virginia Makopo tried to kiss and fondle the girls. She's also accused of kicking and hitting some of them.
Oprah apologized publicly, but what happened to the headmistress who tried to speak out? She was sued and silenced. Case dismissed, settled in secret. Then there was this rumor that Gayle King tried to sue Oprah because she was aware of what Diddy was doing for years. And remember when Oprah distanced herself from Harvey Weinstein? Yeah, the same man she used to call a friend. When actress Katie and Noble came forward, she said Weinstein used Oprah to lure her into his trap.
Pop singer Seal has launched an attack against Oprah, accusing her of knowing about disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. He sent the following meme on Instagram, which reads, "When you're part of the problem for decades, but subtly, they all think you are the solution." Seal then wrote the hashtag Sanctimonious Hollywood. No comment yet from Oprah's camp.
Let's be real. If this was anyone else, especially a black male celeb, the media would have chewed them up and spit them out. But Oprah, the media goes silent. Why? Because she is the media. She controls the narrative. She decides who gets platformed, who gets silenced, who gets destroyed. Just ask Toni Braxton. Toni once said Clive Davis ordered Oprah to take her down. Years later, Toni's career still hadn't fully bounced back, even after she tried to sue her, and her financial struggles were exposed to the world on Oprah's stage. So when people say Oprah silences victims, they don't just mean she keeps them from talking. They mean she destroys them. She builds your brand, then blacklists you overnight if you speak against the system. And now, the system's shaking, because Diddy's going down. And if he snitches, Clive and Oprah are next. The internet isn't buying the innocent act anymore. One ex-user wrote, "It's been known for a long time Oprah was the Madame of Hollywood. The world's about to find out." Another posted, "Oprah is connected to every famous child that ever made the news, including Diddy." And this ain't just a conspiracy. There are documents. There are witnesses. There are flight logs. Cat Williams warned us. He stood 10 toes down when others were shaking. And now the jury's watching closely. Hollywood is a ghost town, said actor Bill Bellamy. Everyone's getting their alibis ready. It's about to go down.
I know it.
Bro, I ain't never, it's ghost town in Hollywood. People trying to get their alibis together. It's about to go down. Them tapes about to drop.
Hold on a second, Bill.
He's been saying that for weeks.
No, because
Hollywood is so quiet.
they have to be scared. Let me tell you what I'm sad
Terrified.
for. Okay, the fact that you think you partying with another celeb and we all good, right? That's what everybody probably thinking.
Yep.
You get to keep your secrets, and this dude just sat up there and taped everything.
Let's get into what really has the industry shook. The tapes. Williams didn't stutter when he said Diddy's about to snitch, but he also mentioned something way more dangerous: evidence. We're talking about videotapes going back to the 90s. One in particular, a black velvet pouch VHS, labeled The Birthday Gala, November 4th, 1998. The contents? Multiple celebrities, Oprah, Clive Davis, Diddy, taking turns on camera, hyping up the night's celebration. But behind all that glitter was a warning from insiders. This wasn't just a birthday bash. It was a selection party. Guests were flown in, phones were confiscated, and high-profile execs were encouraged to pick who they liked. And just like Epstein's blackmail ring, these tapes weren't made for memories. They were made for leverage. Let's circle back to Cat for a second. He's not just going after Diddy, he's aiming much higher. From the looks of it, Cat's been slowly building a case against the entire power structure that props Diddy up. That includes names like Oprah, Clive, and even the shadowy figures most people never hear about. And he's not rushing it. He's moving in stages, dropping hints, connecting dots, and making sure people start paying attention. Cat has made it pretty clear he's been keeping his distance from the industry's inner circle, and not by accident, but because it's safer that way. He knows things, deep things, and he's not afraid to let that be known. Let's talk about strategy. Oprah has played her cards like a pro for decades. Remember that sit-down with Kamala Harris in 2024? That cringy, overly rehearsed interview? Yeah, that wasn't random. A user on X posted, "Oprah ain't dumb. She knows how to pivot." But the pattern is clear. When things get hot, she moves to protect her image, not the victims. Oprah had the nerve to executive produce a doc against Russell Simmons, featuring his accusers, and then stepped back at the last second when backlash hit. That doc? Quietly shelved. Meanwhile, she's been spotted at multiple Diddy parties over the years, and yet she's never commented once on the lawsuits piling up against him. Because when she vilifies a black man, she frames it as empowerment. But when it's her friends, she goes silent. Kat sees it. That's why he's speaking out now. That's why this ain't just another comedy routine, it's a call-out. Davis, let's go back there. He wasn't just Diddy's mentor. He created him. He gave him the label, the money, the keys to the castle. But folks forget, Clive also signed Whitney Houston. He built her. And when she started to spiral, who was still in control? Clive. He needed her back, but under his thumb.
He was the one trying to bring her back, though, at the time of prior to her death, right?
Fuck him.
He
needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
And when she died, right downstairs from his party suite, that was no accident. Jaguar Wright said,
She was beat. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up. And Brandy was the one that found her.
Damn.
But you know, they pledge allegiance to Clive too.
Damn.
Well, you know, Ray J was kind of down on his luck because the whole that happened, and then, you know, Whitney was dead and he was using her, as he said himself, for clout, and then all of a sudden he got Love and Hip Hop LA after Whitney died. And then they inappropriately put her stupid goddaughter on there. Yeah.
and guess who was front row at her funeral? Oprah. Crying on cue, cameras rolling. Let's bring it full circle. Diddy's been raided. The lawsuits are flooding in. And behind the scenes, it's likely that everybody's pointing fingers. But Kat? He's standing still, pointing up. He's telling us that Oprah, Davis, and others have been the puppet masters all along. And now, the strings are snapping. Think Epstein was bad? Let's talk about 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, aka John of God. He was Brazil's so-called miracle healer. Oprah gave this man a platform back in 2010, featuring him on her own network, touting his spiritual gifts, his healing powers, and how he was helping the poor. But what did we find out later? This man wasn't healing anyone. He was running a thing. In 2018, John of God was arrested and charged with and Brazilian authorities confirmed that hundreds of women, some underage, were kept in his healing houses and impregnated to give birth to babies that were sold on the black market. And Oprah? She never apologized, never addressed it. Instead, her own network quietly deleted the original episode. People started asking questions. Why did Oprah platform him in the first place? Why didn't she vet him? Or did she know all along? Oprah's Angel Network sounds like one of those feel-good, heartwarming charities, right? Raised over $80 million. That's impressive. But once you look a little closer, things start to feel kind of sketchy. People have been talking about how only a small portion of that money has a clear paper trail. So now everyone's asking, where did the rest of it actually go? There are also stories floating around that some of the organizations who got funding had to sign super strict NDAs. And the donors? Apparently big industry names who wanted to stay completely off the record. One person even said every time they tried to follow the money, the trail just disappeared, like it was all being handled behind the scenes. Then there's the buzz about a 2021 audit. Word is, a lot of those angel houses were built on land owned by shell companies. And get this, some of those companies reportedly showed up in the Panama Papers. Nobody's outright accusing Oprah of anything, but let's just say people are giving the whole thing a serious side-eye. And Cat Williams? He's not staying quiet, he's out here connecting the dots and putting the pieces on blast. Cat ain't just a comedian anymore, he's a prophet, like Bill Bellamy said. And sources say his next stand-up special, already filmed in Atlanta, is the most dangerous material he's ever released. Now, word on the street is that Cat is shopping for the special himself. He doesn't want any gatekeepers touching it. And guess who he allegedly reached out to? Elon Musk. That's right, Kat wants to drop it on X. Uncut, raw, uncensored. Here's what's got the jury and the whole industry shaking. What if Diddy flips? If Diddy turns on the ones who protected him? That list includes Clive Davis, Oprah, and allegedly other media titans we haven't even named yet. And according to Wright, Oprah knew. She helped cover it, and that's why Kat's gunning for her now. At the end of one of his most viral stand-up clips, Kat basically warned that the very people we look up to, the ones we cheer for and trust with everything, might be the same ones doing the most damage behind closed doors. He believes they don't just take your love and money, they take your kids and hand them over to something way darker. It was one of those chilling mic drop moments that left everyone wondering how much he really knows. That ain't comedy. That's a warning. And now the jury's hearing it too. Because if Oprah goes down, if her past really catches up with her, Hollywood's whole foundation collapses. The gatekeepers? Gone. And for once, the victims might actually win. For years, Oprah was seen as untouchable, above the drama, above the dirt. But lately, the streets have been buzzing. Rumor has it, a once glowing 2017 Rolling Stone profile mysteriously disappeared after whispers surfaced that the journalist behind it took all expenses paid, donor-sponsored trips with own producers. Meanwhile, word is the New York Times supposedly buried several internal investigations into shady practices at Oprah's network, allegedly pushed aside by aggressive legal teams. We've seen scandals, we've seen drama, but this is the trial of the century. Not just for Diddy, not just for Oprah, for the entire damn system. The truth doesn't always come out pretty, but it always comes eventually. And when it does, justice is gonna look a lot like exposure. If you watched this whole video, let me know in the comments what surprised you the most. Do you think her time as a gatekeeper is almost over, or do you still see her as just a talk show host? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.
The Music Recording Network is on Oprah. Oprah, Steve Harvey, Ellen. We already know Ellen. Ellen left the country, so we already know she bad. Yeah, you can give a weak excuse. Oprah was at a lot of Diddy parties. And then you got these tunnels, so you don't know who's sneaking in and out of the parties or what they sneaking in and out of the parties. In them tunnels, yeah, that Oprah, here go another one. With Oprah on it. Should we? This only 11 minutes, man. Let's do this for 2, man. It's gonna be a bonus for everybody who stuck around. Here we go, y'all.
It's hard to believe how far this story has spiraled.
It's crazy,
One
man.
minute, Diddy's throwing lavish parties in Miami, and the next, he's sitting behind bars at one of the most infamous prisons in America. But what's really throwing people off is the name that's now floating around in the same breath as Diddy's, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, you heard that right. The queen of daytime talk, the billionaire media mogul, the woman who built her brand on empowerment and healing. She's now being linked to one of the darkest scandals in entertainment history. And the person pulling back the curtain? None other than Denzel Washington. Let's start with the basics. Diddy's legal situation isn't just a slap on the wrist. This man is being hit with some of the most chilling allegations in recent memory. Trafficking, extortion, drugging victims, even involving minors. We're not talking about a rumor mill here. These are real charges being brought in federal court, and it all really started to blow up when Cassie, Diddy's ex, filed that lawsuit back in late 2023. Since then, it's been a floodgate. Cops raided his homes, confiscated disturbing footage, and uncovered what sounds more like a horror movie set than a celebrity mansion. Baby oil by the gallon, adult toys in the hundreds, and rooms allegedly set up for some real twisted stuff, the kind of things that make you look twice at every red carpet photo. Now, here's where things get wild. Out of nowhere, Oprah's name pops up. Not from some shady tabloid or online forum, but from Denzel Washington himself. Now, Denzel's no stranger to Hollywood power plays, but he usually keeps things classy. So when a guy like him starts calling out Oprah, people listen. He's respected, calculated, and doesn't speak unless there's a reason. And according to folks close to the matter, Denzel's been side-eyeing Oprah for a while now. Not just for how she handles certain topics publicly, but for how she treats people privately, especially Black women in the industry. See, the Oprah-Diddy connection isn't some new fling. They've known each other for decades. From industry events like the BET Awards to rubbing shoulders at Cannes, the Grammys, and even fashion galas, they've crossed paths more times than most fans can count. Diddy's even been on her show, where they laughed it up about his rise to fame and his business hustle. On the surface, it all looked like mutual respect between two black titans who beat the odds. But now, people are going back and watching those old interviews with a whole new lens. Oprah's reputation has always been squeaky clean in the mainstream, but not everyone's buying the act. See, behind the scenes, there's always been chatter. Rumors of Oprah being tied to shady characters like John of God, a so-called spiritual healer later convicted of some truly horrific crimes. She once praised him on her platform, and when the truth came out, she quietly distanced herself. But the internet never forgets. Now that Diddy's case is exploding and names are flying left and right, people are starting to connect dots that were hiding in plain sight. And Denzel? He's not just mad about Oprah's associations. He's mad about the double standards. Oprah's been vocal about female empowerment, especially in Hollywood. She's front and center when it's time to uplift, to spotlight injustice, to champion women's rights. But what about when the women involved are black actresses? 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗦, for example, didn't hold back. She said straight up that Oprah underpaid her on The Color Purple, a movie Oprah herself produced. And she's not the only one. Fantasia, Halle Bailey, they've all come out hinting or saying outright that something isn't right when Oprah's calling the shots. So when Denzel spoke up, it wasn't random. It was years of tension boiling over. Diddy's white parties were the stuff of legend. All white outfits, endless champagne, celebrity guests that could fill 3 Met Galas, and behind closed doors, allegedly, things got a whole lot darker. These weren't just parties. According to multiple lawsuits and first-hand accounts, they were the breeding ground for some of the most disturbing behavior the entertainment world has seen in decades. What started off as glitzy rooftop celebrations supposedly turned into nightmare-fueled backroom rituals. And while most of Hollywood shrugged it off as Diddy being extra, the truth might have been hiding in plain sight the whole time. One thing's clear, these events weren't limited to just rappers and influencers. You had the biggest names from music, film, and TV floating through. Jay-Z, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, even Mariah Carey. And yes, Oprah Winfrey herself was reportedly spotted at more than one of these high-profile gatherings. Now, that doesn't mean she was in the middle of the chaos, but it does raise questions. Because if even a fraction of what's being alleged is true, it's hard to believe that anyone attending didn't see or hear something. There were reports of women being brought in from overseas, models flown in under shady contracts, and guests being led into back rooms where phones were taken and the real parties began. Leaked photos from one of those infamous nights show barely clothed women draped over couches, clearly under the influence, while industry titans stood feet away sipping champagne like it was a normal Friday night. These weren't random club nights. These were controlled environments where powerful people felt invincible, and some might have crossed the line knowing no one would dare expose them. The federal investigation into Diddy's activities didn't just come out of nowhere. Authorities say they've been building this case for years, tracking incidents that span across states, New York, California, Nevada, and collecting testimonies from over 100 people. At least 25 of them were minors. One of the most disturbing accusations claims Diddy drugged and assaulted a 13-year-old girl after an award show. Others say he used GHB-laced oils during freak-offs, his term for intimate gatherings that allegedly blurred every boundary of consent. There are even accusations from men who claim they were assaulted too. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Diddy is currently being held, is known as one of the most dangerous and brutal prisons in the country. That alone tells you how serious this has gotten. And yet, while Diddy's empire collapses in real time, the spotlight is turning to those who enabled him or simply stayed silent. Enter Oprah. Her defenders say guilt by association isn't fair, that being at the same event or in the same circle doesn't make someone complicit. But her critics argue that Oprah, of all people, should have seen the signs, especially someone with her influence, resources, and connections. They're asking why she's been so quiet, why she hasn't come forward with a statement, any acknowledgement, even a denial. Her silence, some say, speaks louder than words.
Facts.
There's also a growing concern about how many girls from Oprah's own South African school might have crossed paths with the entertainment industry afterward. No one's made a direct link, but the speculation is growing. People online are questioning whether some of those students ended up in situations they never should have been near, especially considering Oprah's access to Hollywood circles like Diddy's. It's a sensitive topic, but it's not going away. With each new lawsuit, each detail more chilling than the last, it's becoming harder for those in Diddy's orbit to remain untouched. The walls are closing in, and people are watching closely to see who gets caught in the fallout. Diddy's legal team is scrambling. They've called the accusations outrageous, claimed the stories are exaggerated, and demanded the identities of the accusers be revealed so they can defend properly. But prosecutors aren't budging. They're keeping everything locked down while they continue stacking evidence. Civil suits, criminal charges, federal investigations. It's all closing in, and with each new report, the picture gets uglier. One lawsuit even details how victims were allegedly drugged using drinks spiked with sedatives, then assaulted in places ranging from mansions to hotels to, unbelievably, a department store. And the creepiest part, the use of baby oil laced with GHB. Not something most people just have lying around. It's no longer a celebrity scandal. It's a criminal saga involving abuse, coercion, and a network of silence that let it all fester for years. And the silence part is what's hitting people the hardest. For all the parties, interviews, and red carpet smiles, nobody with real power said a word when it mattered. That's where Denzel Washington drew the line. His name carries weight in this industry because he never played the game, never needed to. And he's made it clear he won't stand next to anyone who helps keep these kinds of secrets buried. Denzel's support for Black actresses like Taraji P. Henson and Monique isn't performative. He's been vocal about equal pay and respect, even when it's uncomfortable. That's why his criticism of Oprah isn't being brushed off. He's not coming from a place of tabloid gossip. He's calling out the system, the hypocrisy, and the people at the top who preach empowerment while stepping on the very people they claim to uplift. Oprah's defenders argue she's done more for Black communities than almost anyone else in media. They point to her school in South Africa, her scholarships, her platform. And sure, she's helped a lot of people, but the criticism isn't about whether she's done good. It's about whether she looked the other way when it really counted. There's a growing belief that her public image has shielded her from accountability, and now that image is starting to crack. There's also the matter of how Diddy maintained his status in the industry for so long. Despite years of whispers and uncomfortable headlines, he kept climbing. Award shows, talk shows, endorsement deals. It's almost like the system was designed to protect him, as long as he played the game and kept the money flowing. Some are speculating that Oprah, with her massive influence and control over media narratives, may have played a quiet role in preserving his legacy, or at the very least never challenging it. None of this means Oprah committed a crime. But in this moment, people are less focused on legal definitions and more on moral accountability. If you have the power to expose darkness and you choose not to, aren't you part of the problem? That's the question being asked more and more, especially by the people who used to idolize her. Right now, Diddy is awaiting trial, and the list of accusers keeps growing. But the bigger story might be about the machine that allowed it all to happen. The celebrities who smiled for photos, the executives who signed off on deals, the insiders who heard the rumors and stayed quiet because it wasn't their problem. The cracks are spreading, and as the lawsuits pile up, it feels like a reckoning, not just for Diddy, but for everyone who helped build the illusion. Whether Oprah responds or not, the narrative has shifted. People are watching more closely, questioning more deeply.
Questioning more. I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm on Oprah. Any more, we can do another one. We can keep going all day on Oprah, man, because I know there's no way in the world you got 3 people that's doing some crazy, stupid stuff that got you going, Diddy doing all kinds of baby oil stuff. That is just obvious. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Even his stupid lawyer talking about some, I don't know why you need 1,000 bottles. That's what we saying, dummy. I don't think it was 1,000 bottles. I don't think, where y'all getting this number from? We got it from the police, They counted accurately. We don't want to put out 1,000 bottles of baby oil when there's only 400. So let's count it again. We're going to count. That's something we got to stand behind that. 1,000? Why would you say 1,000 when it was only 800? Excuse me, it was 1,000. That's why I said 1,000. Why should I stretch it or make it smaller? This stupid lawyer up there talking about some, let's just say it was a lot. It's not 1,000. He trying to sway us to think differently. Stupid. Just dumb. That is just stupid. And he said the public general, the general, whatever, I don't know these names. The police said it, man. They put it in their report that they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They didn't say approximately. They said over 1,000 bottles. So he probably had 2,000. He had already used some. But anyway, then he talking about one bottle goes a long way. Duh. That's what we're thinking. So why you need 1,000? I know you're a millionaire, almost billionaire, whatever the case may be. Now here come Oprah. I'm mad at Oprah. I didn't know this is what the Braxton, Toni Braxton said out of her mouth. She said that Oprah tried to embarrass her. Yeah, that's right. Talking about because she had Gucci silverware. Talking about I'm Oprah and I didn't even know they sold Gucci sold silverware. Because she filing bankruptcy now, she broke. Well, at the time she wanted the daggone silverware. She wanted the silverware. Oprah, you got a nerve to talk. You over there buying up land in Hawaii. Yeah. And it sure is funny, you and The Rock over there raising money for land that been burnt up in Hawaii. But your land ain't get burnt up. Look here, man. Let me get on up out of here. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.